Dairanger's story is an extensive plot line from betrayals to hard stomach reveals. Were you disappointed that Burai didn't get much screen time? Here's Ko and his origin, and Dairanger respected the audience intelligence. The writers really wanted to do a good show after the disappointment Dairanger caused, although they did go overboard in the attacks department. I never did talk about who the Dairangers were. That's because there's not much to say on them. The team was very underdeveloped. They have personalities, but besides Geki and Burai, we never got to know who they are, especially before they got sealed away. And nothing past second in command, the young annoying guy, the kid. Dairanger improved in that area a lot. Almost all the Rangers got some interesting stories and arcs. Ryo started off as the most generic person if you passed him in the street. He was a delivery boy, but became the leader of the Dairangers. Him having lived a harder life than most gave him energy to always push ahead. In the middle of the series, he had to deal with a deadly rival that he took on alone. I was dumbfounded that MMPR didn't use any bit of this story to give Jason or Rocky something to do in the season. I don't want to spoil too much, but he became one of the better Red Rangers out there. Daigo, the second in command, and my personal favorite. Daigo's a hardhead. He's hyper-fixated in getting tasks done, he doesn't take crap, but does have a softer side that he doesn't let most people see, which attracted a mysterious woman to him called Kutaku. Again, I don't want to spoil, but she becomes a big part of his story, and connects to the villains on top of that. But not everyone is perfect. Kazu is the weakest of the six. He's still better than the Dairangers. He practices drunk fighting. He's probably the best fighter of the entire team, but they gave him nothing to do past him being a hairstylist. Shoji, if you know Shinken Green, that's Shoji. Really annoying character, kind of like the young brother. He was always with Daigo, gets pissed off easily, and storms off when things get rough. He was the hardest to teach in the group, but slowly turned around into a good person. Rin? She had a hard time. Rin came from China not too long ago before the Gorma attack, and her family are the ones who designed a lot of the Dairanger equipment. So she got double screwed, moving to Japan, being in this unfamiliar place while getting ready for this insanity all her life. Thankfully not boring like Mei. She got episodes and did help out Daigo, Shoji, and Ko when they were in pretty bad stuff. Also had a rivalry with Gara due to her doing horrific things to people. She has her ups and downs, but something surprised you where characters end up. Which leaves me with Ko. Yes, they didn't use him a lot because he was played by a young actor, school was the priority than the show, but when Ko got episodes, there's a lot to him. And what happened to his family? You think just because he's a kid that he's just going to be goofing off? He does that, but he goes through some really crazy crap, which probably parents complained about. 5 out of 6 Rangers having good stories is better than most seasons. So with the Rangers done, what was the Gorma tribe about? Unlike Bandora, the Gorma tribe was more chaotic. 8,000 years in the past, they conquered over the world, but because they were unstable thanks to the evil power they used, it eventually collapsed and they went dormant till they rose again in 1993. They're led by Gorma 15. This is where Master Org came from. Specifically his costume. He was unused material and Master Org was an original villain for Wild Force, so Power Rangers always goes back to stuff they skip. The Gorma work under a basic caste system, 15 being at the top, with the Senate and military doing the main work. The people and monsters in these groups are very horrific. 4-headed demons to evil kids. Don't ever look at them as people. They may have human forms, but they are monsters through and through. Even when they don't show things like blood, lots of the monsters just creep you out. Take Key Jester. He steals the souls of kids and puts them in toys. The bulk of the attacks are led by Shaddam, Kara, and Zydos. They're the ones who create the monsters of the week. A few of the monsters were skipped in MMPR, and the monsters in the higher leader levels were just used as every other monster, which kind of sucked, especially the 3 ladies. They were important in Kozark, but MMPR made them very generic. Unlike Dairanger, they had a theme for the monsters. Dairangers were based off mostly human-made objects, rarely plants or fantastical beasts. But their names do have a theme. They always reference a position of power or their jobs, like a king, queen, or duke. This leaves Serpintera. It's a confusing mess. I still don't understand why MMPR bothered with him. Now, Serpintera does exist in Dairanger, but he's not a part of the Gorma. Basically, The Gorma and the Dairangers fights are causing a disruption to the balance of the universe, which is where Daijinryu, Great God Dragon, comes in. He destroys anything that causes an imbalance. He does not care about either side, why they fight, or who dies. He destroys whatever to restore balance, and only appears in 2 episodes. You ever wondered why Zed built the largest, most powerful Zord in the galaxy, and it had that stupid power problem? This is why. There was only 5 minutes of footage of him. He was definitely devastating and powerful. He destroyed Tokyo in one of his attacks, but not important to the series. Another confusing bit in that footage was Tor The Shuttle Zord. Tor just comes out of nowhere for MMPR, but in Dairanger, Tor is actually a person. His name was Kameo, played by a previous Sentai actor. Clumsy, a goofball, he had no idea he was Daimugen. Technically, you could count him as the 7th Dairanger. That's why Tor in the Serpintera episodes was acting on his own and cared a lot about the Zords. There's a lot of stuff to Dairanger and why Season 2 feels so disjointed. I'd say Season 2 probably is the most complicated season the series had to work with. That's where weird episodes like the Great Bukala Escape came from. They can't use the footage properly, so we gotta use the monster somehow. Dairanger has an exhaustive list of abilities and attacks, not just for the Kidenju, but the Rangers themselves. Each of them have special talents and abilities. I think the season was inspired by Dragon Ball Z. It was airing at the time, Toei owns both shows, and it was at its height in popularity. They took advantage of it. Even Ryo got an attack that referenced Gohan. All 6 Rangers can channel their ki energy into offensive, defensive, and energy attacks, specializing on an element. Ryu-Ranger's abilities are fire-based moves, such as his signature attack, Tenkasei Enjoha, Heavenly Fire Star Blaze Destruction Wave, and his most powerful finisher, the Star Meteor Flash, Rusei Senko, which is similar to Gohan's signature move, Ma Senko. Daigo's key abilities focus on illusions, projecting things like cars, trains, and environmental hazards to confuse enemies. One of his signature moves is his Dairen Rod Peacock Cut, in honor of his love Kyojaku. Shoji's key powers are based on gravity. His fighting styles are his fists and kicks, like his Pegasus Revolving Kick and Inversion Wave. Kazu, I think, had the best abilities of the team, annoyingly got the least character time. With his key powers, Kazu can control time. He can reverse and slow down time. He's not OP, his powers can only last for a few seconds, and with his drunken fist fighting style, do 2 finishers, Headache Fist and True Fist Thrust. Rin is a master of the wind, from her straight line tornado, plus she has the best attack with the Dairinkins, Rin's Blade Whirlwind Slash. For Ko, his element is sound. My personal favorite is Scattered Echo, just yelling into monsters, making them go insane. Even the Mecha have a ton of attacks. Ruseo got 5. In his Dragon mode, Great Blaze, and in Warrior mode, various kicks and spins like the Great Windmill Slice. When combined with the Ki Palace, he gains the Heavenly Great Windmill finisher. Star Jishi's attack is the Great Mirage. Star Tenma, Great Gravity. Star Kieran, Great Time. Star Ho-Oh, Great Whirlwind, and Wan Tiger, the Great Roar. Wan Tiger also has his special attacks he loads from his cockpit. They're his 7 treasure pearls. The show didn't get to use most of them, and MMPR only used one over and over again, but each one is based on the moon, fire, water, wood, metal, earth, and sun. They're also a reference to the 7 days in the week. Daireno's attacks when using his Daioken, shooting out electricity from the sword's tip, it's his Daihohen attack, Great Discharge. And when Daireno uses his Dai Javelin, his finisher is the Dai Senpu, Great Whirlwind. And main finisher, Shippu Doto, Raging Hurricane Waves. Kiba Daio's attacks are Great Ki Power Punch and Smash to Atoms. And the strongest attack they can do is Great Death Crush. Dairanger is one of my personal favorite Super Sentai seasons, from its designs to the character stories. There were so many memorable moments, and it proved you could have a kid play a ranger, unlike how they bungled it with Justin. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't hate MMPR Season 2, and I never want Power Rangers to just follow the Sentai. I always say it's its own show. It's just that there were many storylines that they could have pulled ideas from to give Rocky his own thing. Not bothered with Serpintera, and I had wished they used the suits in some capacity. Every single time we almost got them, they got scrapped. In early stages of Lost Galaxy, they proposed to use them over the Gingaman suits. Don't remind me of Megaforce. If you wanted a recommendation to a Sentai season to watch, this one is a good place to go. I would say it's the last season to feel like the Sentais of the 1980s, especially if you care to avoid the goofier seasons. Watching Dairanger will also answer the weirdness that was going on in MMPR, what was missing, why the Rangers never attacked the monsters half the time, and why the Rangers fought every single time in that park. This brings an end to Gosei Sentai Dairanger. Next video, I'll be looking at Season 3 and how they turn ninjas into aliens from a water planet. If you have a suggestion or a topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment down below. I may use it next time.